Right, welcome to a very good morning, good afternoon. Sorry, here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Big edition, big conversation. Obviously, that is what we're bringing to you this afternoon as on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube after the morning updates. No, of course. What? Yes, smart for us to say to him. I'm just a messenger essentially. And once there is any news that is worth talking about, I need to come in and bring it to you here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Of course, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel and turn on notification. It's important that you do that. Make sure that in the notification turn you do choose all, just so anytime that there is content, you are first to have it here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Yeah, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. It's very, very important that you do that. Of course, but there are lots of things that we need to talk about over here. Of course, if you're an investor, each morning the Fiifi-Manfred Betway codes are down. I keep on saying Betway codes, and somebody come and ask me which app. It is Betway codes. Please, Betway codes. They're always in the description of the video below. Pick them up and then put them in your Betway app, and then give yourself a chance at winning something today. We are on course to booming. So we'll see you later in the evening when we boom. And of course, God willing, tomorrow morning will come your way again. And then, of course, later in the day will come your way again. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Like we do, let me say a big hello to Yesumo. And I always go back to recounting how I met to Yesumo. It was just an accident. And I needed a place to get the best spare parts for my vehicle. It was a Honda Civic at the time. And I said, Charlie, where do I get somebody? Lots of these guys around, they'll not give you correct stuff, they'll give you substandard. So I saw Yesumo's ad on Twitter, and I gave him a call. I said, bro, Charlie, I needed ABC. And he said, oh, me, I have everything that you need. If you want airbag, if you want bumper, if you want bonnet, if you want side camera, if you want, side mirror, everything, I can get this for you. And I said, oh, Charlie, but I'm not even in a crowd. I said, oh, me, I'm in Abosiokai, the post office there. That's why I'm at Abosiokai. So you can come in, and of course, we'll get a staff for you. But if you can't come to her, I'll send them via vehicle to you in Kumasi. I was like, wow, that is super. So he said, yeah, that's what I do. So if you were someone like me and you needed something with your vehicle, any kind of issue with a vehicle, just go to Abosokai. If you are in Accra at the post office, look for Yesumo. He's right there. He'll give you the best of stuff. But if you are not there in Accra and you're outside of Accra and you still need a staff, then what you have to do is that just call him on 059-313-8221. 059-313-8221. Yesumo is going to deliver the stuff to you wherever you are in Ghana. Yeah, wherever you are in Ghana, Yesumo deliver those spare parts to you anywhere that you are in Ghana. Of course, when it comes to jerseys and everything about football, boots, hose, everything, there is the guy called Champion Diego Jesus. Champion Diego Jesus. He's at Atonsu High School Junction. Everything I need with jerseys customized. You want to give it as a gift, whatever. Just make sure you call Champion Diego. He's the best guy for stuff like that. Call him on 054-6279-512, 054-6279-512, or 053-55-239862, 053-55-239862. Call Champion Jerseys now. I think a lot of people have been asking questions about Liverpool and their intent. And it's one of the things that we'll talk about today. But even apart from that, I think that many have some insight on something that happened on the night. This is 1 week of when Chelsea won the Club World Cup. But apparently, something happened on the Saturday night before the Sunday now. Chelsea win the Club World Cup. Not Chelsea players, it was a Chelsea directors, but that was one of the major catapults that helped Chelsea win the Club World Cup. Now I'll talk about it. So super insights, super exciting. How Chelsea fully used that as an opportunity to get there. It was really exciting. But then let's start from here. Let's start from the fact that Abrante Richard Reels finally AS Roma have lost out on Abrante Richard Reels, and he's really going to join Benfica in Lisbon. Usually players from South America, when they are making their first step into Europe, it is usually Portugal, because the Portuguese culture and then the Spanish culture and then the South American culture are literally the same. And I've said it several times that Portugal and then Spain are essentially separated by the Iberian Peninsula. They are literally just short distance away from themselves. So It's a place where usually these players want to settle first and then make a move to mainstream Europe. And Richard Ross, after the Club World Cup, essentially is one of those players that the stocks now have gone up, and almost a lot of the clubs in Europe want him. A lot of the people have said that, okay, this Richard Ross guy is good. Let's go after him. The dribbling ability, the fact that he has those finishing, and he's tenacious. It's an attribute that almost every South American player has. And then that is something that Benfica wanted from him. One thing is that these clubs in Benfica, Portugal, France, what they do is that they don't avert risk. And the risk aversion essentially, actually say, Obi Kwakoto player and as a player in Accra, improving the one the highest level. These top teams, Madrid, Barca, before they will not buy you. Because, what have you done to merit playing for Barcelona? What have you done to merit playing for a Liverpool, a Man United, or Madrid, or even Chelsea? You've not done anything. So they want you to go and prove elsewhere. Then when you come, you probably fit into their club. And that is why some of these guys, they get some of these best players. Him, John Arias, Igor Jesus, and some other ones. Of course, Westerval Leon is going to go to Chelsea. These guys obviously are going to get European moves. And what we are hearing is that Richard Rios has already finalized that deal to go to Benfica already. Of course, this morning I told you about the inquiry for Galatasaray. Galatasaray are building a super team. And I think that this is a team where a lot of the people would have to be very, very careful and wary of in the Champions League next season. You can't write them off. And when they meet middle table teams, they'll be able to hold their own because they finalized the deal for Victor Osimhen. And I like the nitty-gritties of the deal in itself. The fact that they didn't have the money up front, they can't pay it in 10 installments and whatnot. But Napoli didn't want to sell to them. They found a way to get Napoli to sell Victor Osimhen to them because obviously Victor Osimhen had made it clear that he wants to stay at Galatasaray if he will not go to Saudi Arabia because a lot of the other European clubs were not giving him what he wanted. And in staying in Europe, he wanted to make sure that he gets what he wanted. And Galatasaray were going to give him that. So they are going to pay 40 million of the sum straight up to Napoli this summer. They'll pay the rest of the 35 by the end of 2026. But between those 3 years, they can't sell Victor Osimhen to any Italian club, or else they'll pay. They'll pay more, a penalty, in addition to what they bought Victor Osimhen. So Aurelio De Laurentiis have managed to do that, but they realize that they don't have a goalkeeper. Away from just Leroy Sané, Victor Osimhen, all of these guys in the middle of the park that can control the game in itself, one of the things that you need, and I've said it several times, is that in the current dispensation of football, Madrid, Barcelona, and Sankofonia, one of the things that's very clear is that we are top level goalkeeper. We are goalkeeper where when it's a day where you need somebody to bail you out and the players are not even playing well, that player can stand up. And a constant example is Courtois. And that is why Galatasaray are saying that they want to go straight to go to Fiifi-Manfred in Man City, get an experienced goalkeeper in Edison Morales, bring them into their club, top level goalkeeper who can really help them improve, who can really help them play their football at any level, Champions League, Europa League, wherever. They can really go in there and then compete, something that's very, very important. Of course, Madrid are doing something unusual. Very, very unusual. And why do I say this? See, Madrid, when you turn 30, they don't give you contract extensions as long as they are planning to give Thibaut Courtois. When players turn 30, see, in fact, even for the great Sergio Ramos, Madrid did not do that. For Madrid, they didn't do that. In fact, for a lot of the people who are close to Toni Kroos, one of the reasons why they felt that Toni Kroos left Madrid before Madrid left him was that he didn't want it to get to the point where after age 36, Madrid will say, oh, we can't give you a contract. So he says, you know what, this is the best time for me to go. After that Euros, I need to leave this club. And he did. Because Madrid as a club essentially feels like once you're over 30, thereabout, they don't give you long-term contract, they give you short-term contracts. And in Madrid currently, there are two major contract decisions that they are dealing with. One, the contract of Vinicius Jr, which has stalled. And now they don't know exactly where they're going to go from there. I feel that they are going to find a truce. I've said it the last time out that if Vini has the chance to stay at Madrid, he should stay at Madrid. Even if he's going to take that 18 million that Madrid said he can only pay for his image right, he should take that money. Not stress too much because I don't think Vini has to go to Saudi Arabia. Stay at Madrid for 2-3 more years, compete again, play again, put yourself out there. Maybe Brazil can go on and then win the World Cup, and then again you are back in the Ballon d'Or conversation and probably win it. It's very, very important. I think that Vinny Jr. in the last few years has been playing well until that Ballon d'Or shone, where after that his performance haven't really been at the top level. But of course, he can pick himself. But we're talking about Thibaut Courtois. Madrid for now planning on giving him a long-term contract. Very, very unusual. And Courtois is 30. Why? Because Courtois, even at age 30, has proven to everybody that he's literally Madrid's most important players. And you see, this is not a Madrid team of regular players. It's a Madrid team of some of the best young players in the world. Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr, Rodrigo Cascante. I mean, they've added some of the excellent players, Dean Huijsen and the likes. And still, Thibaut Courtois is considered super important in that Madrid side. And Madrid wants to give him that long, extended contract so that he can go on and keep on keeping the posts for them. And it's going to be an important player for them. But away from Real Madrid, away from Thibaut Courtois, today is the 7th year of Vinicius Jr at Madrid. 7 years ago, something really exceptional was brewing at Madrid. Something really, top stuff was brewing at football club Real Madrid, and Vini has won a lot. He has seen it all at the top level. The only thing that he has missed is the Ballon d'Or, where some of us believe that year was Vini's year. I said it several times that people can have their own analysis of the situation, people can have their own opinion of the situation. But for me, Vini Jr. deserved that Ballon d'Or than Rodri Cascante on the night. And as much as Rodri won, the Euros at the time, the lead up to the Champions League, what Vinicius Jr. did, that year, he was literally unstoppable in the league, everything. He was the main guy. People made excuses of what Vinicius Jr.'s attitude showed and stuff like that. This is a young man that's been racially abused in a country known for racism in the last few years. Obviously, he had to stand up for himself. So why is that Vinicius Jr. stands up for himself and people begin to ask questions of his attitude? People begin to ask questions of what Vinicius Jr. brings to their table and stuff like that. Really not fair. But of course, it's a 7th year, and Madrid have not given that contract extension. But I think that with time, they'll be able to resolve that, and Vini will go forward and have things done. This morning, I reported that Abrante's friend Dani Ceballos, he's a player that is on the radar for a lot of clubs, Real Betis and the likes. But the salary of Dani Ceballos is making it very difficult. And the amount of money that Madrid may command, if you say you want to negotiate with Madrid, it's also probably proven to be a little bit difficult for Real Madrid. So that is where the big issue is. But Madrid, we have heard that even if you don't get a proper 6 weeks technical enough to control tempo, Xabi Alonso believes that Aurelien Tchouameni is the guy that can really sit deep line in the middle of the park and control the game and really let the ball flow through him and be the guy that orchestrates Madrid's attack. These are all things that we'll see with respect to time. Let me tell you, it's just 1 week in. But let me explain, let me tell you about this thing. See, when teams win football matches, when teams win big trophies like Chelsea did 1 week ago, it's not just what happens on the field of play. Really, usually, if you are part of the team, you begin to feel it like a day or two before because of preparations mentally, preparations tactically, preparations physically. Some of these things, you begin to feel it. Now, according to the Times say the night before the Champions League, not the Champions League final, the Club World Cup final that Chelsea played against Paris Saint-Germain. The Chelsea, usually it happens whether if FIFA is organizing a competition, if UEFA is organizing a competition, if anybody organizing any competition, the night before the final, there's a dinner. There's a dinner where the top hierarchy guys, the directors, the owners, and the FIFA officials, they sit out on a dinner, they talk, they eat, they sort of familiarize with themselves. They have that camaraderie amongst themselves in times like that. So apparently, Chelsea and the Paris Saint-Germain officials, of course, I'm guessing Nasser Al-Khelaifi is going to be there. I'm guessing Todd Boehly is going to be there. I'm guessing Baghdad Iqbal is there. I'm guessing what's his name, Lawrence Stewart, Joe Shields, and then maybe Joe Shields wasn't even there, but then Winston Lee are going to be there representing Chelsea. Apparently, when they went to the MetLife Stadium that evening to have the dinner, then the Paris Saint-Germain officials were really on. Luis Campos, Nasser Al-Khelaifi, all of these guys, they were really asking the FIFA officials that, when will we lift the trophy? Here in Paris Saint-Germain, of course, or China, any major trophy, so show us. Which part of the stadium? How is it going to be like? We want to know exactly how it's going to be like so we can prep the team to come in. So like they were really focused, according to Times, they were really focused on that. They were focused on how and where they will win the trophy, at what point, who hand the trophy to them. Is it going to be Donald Trump? Is it going to be unknown FIFA President Gianni Infantino? How is it going to be like? Hey, I mean, it's dinner. It's a football game. 90 minutes of a match. How do you go there and your thoughts that you have in your head is that how and when are we going to lift that trophy? You know, who is going to give the trophy to us? We are waiting. Show us. Oh, meanwhile, you've not played the ball. Meanwhile, ball a couple of hours. Something probably could have happened. So apparently, when all of this were happening, Chelsea's directors, sporting directors, you know, were recording some meeting, you know, and they put them on record. They recorded everything. Some of them were voice, some of them were video, and apparently immediately, in fact, the meeting didn't even end. They sent it to Enzo Maresca. They sent some videos to Maresca. Say, yeah, but we've come, we're having, dinner with these guys. After having dinner with them, they are fixated on the fact that, oh, tomorrow, so okay, when we finish playing the game and we win, so okay, how will we walk to the podium? Okay, so what will happen so that we can prep our guys more? So we want to leave the trophy. Okay, oh, is Donald Trump won the trophy to us? Oh, then that is nice. Stuff like that. That was all that was going on there. Chelsea director said, okay, that's okay, no problem. They were quiet, they were listening. I mean, you are obviously the favorites. I mean, it speaks to how people, not just people away from Paris Saint-Germain, but even people in the club, people close to the club, quotes and quotes, disrespected Chelsea and didn't give Chelsea a dog chance. Really, if you are playing at the highest level, really, if you are a top competitor, one of the things you have to do is to give respect to people. I've said to people a lot of the times throughout the time, people ask me, why is it that you always, when you talk about other clubs, it's like you even support them and you're not even a Chelsea fan. I say it's my job as an analyst. As an analyst, I need to be very respectful. I need to understand that. I mean, I'm not God. I mean, you can only analyze situations, but things do happen. So there are certain ways that you can use. Paris Saint-Germain were fixated on that. So apparently, once Chelsea had the meeting, so usually when you are going to play a game, there's a technical meeting in the morning. Enzo Maresca share boys now. That was the first video he played for them in preparation. Enzo Maresca. That was the first video he showed them. So they had 10 minutes now. Caicedo were on it, pumped up, were aggressive. They had seen a lot. The game preparation was almost perfect. And they wanted to use the first 10 minutes to tell them that cap, no, when you're getting your budget, whatever you do, will win the cup today. So Moses Caicedo and the likes, they showed them the video in preparation. Even before they talked about tactics, they had showed them the video to prepare them psychologically, to prepare them physically, to prepare them mentally for the game. So they showed them the video, they showed them all of those things, and they went straight into it. And of course, when I saw it, I found it really interesting. I'm so Tally. Then I need to share it with you guys. I need to let you guys know how Chelsea won. Even the night before the Club World Cup final, they did exactly a tactical plan to go on and then go and win the Club World Cup, from Team America, Paris Saint-Germain, and then the works that went in there. Obviously, after the competition, Chelsea had a team moment that the most money from the Club World Cup. After them, obviously, Paris Saint-Germain, I think Chelsea had 118 or so. Of course, I'm going to Chelsea, yellow cards, being then, of course, the second place, Paris Saint-Germain, Madrid next. Then there is, I think, Fluminense, they are somewhere around 80 million. Charlie, imagine what 80 million would do to Fluminense in the Brazilian league. Imagine. But to far go money at the Adimuni are there in terms of play teams or Manchester or Club World Cup. You see, Chelsea here, things are going to go on. This morning, I reported to you, say Chelsea are close. Bola Portugal came to report about the possibility of Joao Felix joining Benfica from Chelsea. Joao Felix has said that he believes that that is the place where he can go back and play his football again. He wants to go back there and play some good football and probably get back to the top again. Chelsea says, no problem. We will take you back to Benfica. Go back to Benfica, go and play your football. What we heard is that because of the stance of Joao Felix, you see, this is the reason why I don't like the super agent, what's his name? Former Cristiano Ronaldo agent. Jorge Mendes. The reason why I don't like Jorge Mendes is because of this. And I've said it several times. Jorge Mendes, every time wants to be cunning. Chelsea to the baby. In our will confirm Joao Felix by. Say you want to do a swap and Joao Felix come Chelsea and stuff because Chelsea needed a way to make money and Conor Gallagher wanted to go. Chelsea wanted to find a place to take Conor Gallagher to. You weren't getting a place. You went to Atletico Madrid and said, okay, Charlie, you know what? The player I know what I'm saying, Onyebimo. You guys don't have plans for him. He's not even feeling well here. There is a player at Chelsea called Conor Gallagher. I think he fits how you want to play. And it's in Chelsea for didn't come. They will bring Conor Gallagher. You will give them Joao Felix and your swap deal, but then we'll make it look like it's a swap deal and we'll make it like it's paid over there. Any okay, it's a deal. 1 year on your player has succeeded at Chelsea. He has to go and he has a contract with Chelsea. Chelsea want to sell him. What question Benfica for Echi? And Benfica for they want to pay less than 20 million for Joao Felix. What's this? Less than 20 million for Joao Felix. What is this? And going and then sometimes when Joao Felix was coming to Chelsea, I said it from day one. Chelsea fans, you people like your shiny toys. Just before my shiny toys, this over who now all of a sudden, now my fans, now Charlie and new player. Joao Felix was never going to be a player that was going to succeed at Chelsea Football Club. And I kept on saying this thing. And now Joao Felix is going back and less than 20 million for him. Chelsea phone is a master. Very good money. You cannot come and take Joao Felix from our club and you are going to pay a meager sum of money. You're going to pay something like chicken change of a sort. Nah, it's not going to happen. Chelsea if you want to catch up, say it will not happen. Make sure that you are coming as you are coming to Chelsea Football Club over the top player and Barca. Come with good money because Renato Vegas is saying Chelsea for 14 million. 14 million. And then buying for Babisa, Atletico Madrid Babisa, Inter Milan Babisa, to the extent that Atletico have advanced in the conversation with Renato Vega. They've advanced. Conversation, they look like the team that probably will get Renato Vega. They look like the team that will probably get him. Chelsea for 40 million. 1 year ago, just played a couple of games in the conference league. Chelsea took him a loan to go and play Italian Serie A. Okokobo loan back. Also, okay, still he doesn't want to play and left back. He wants to play left centre back. Then Chelsea, okay, fine, then we sell him. The clubs that are coming 40 million at Chelsea, they are flipping the amount of money. Now Benfica, say Joao Felix deal over just less than 20 million. It's an amount of money that Chelsea when I catch the massa. And now they are not going to take that amount of money for Joao Felix. When you're watching, say over BTS Kapapa the player and then forget about it. We'll see how things are going to go. Marcus Rashford to Barcelona. The deal has been finalized, like I told you, and the documents have been exchanged. Senior Chelsea and Man United a year for Jadon Sancho deal. Only say na Marco Jadon Sancho deal. Chelsea took him on loan, paid certain percentage of his wages. Then what they were going to do was that there was going to be an option to buy him the next year or the next summer for 30 million. When Tini and Tony for 30 million, you pay a penalty back to them. And that is what Man United for now. Man United will not pay any part of Rashford's salary. Barcelona and Ibiza all of the salary, but of course he'll take a pay cut. And then if he performs well and there's a likelihood he'll stay at Barcelona, what will happen is that then they'll buy him for 30 million. I think that Marcus Rashford at 30 million, it's not a bad deal to do, especially if he performs well. Marcus do 30, he's a player in his prime, and if you're able to use him well, you get a lot of success from him, and you're able to get a job done. I was listening to an interview of Yori Cruyff and the importance of buying backs players, and especially with Inigo Martinez, very important player. Last season I mentioned, he said, Charlie, so only Inigo Martinez, you would think that he's just one of those players, really top player, top power, giving what Inigo will give you on the ball, off the ball, and the leadership ability that he uses at Barca team, especially a team like that with a lot of young players, you need it like that. And you see, backs players are players where your players are in fact backs people, daring, very courageous, ambitious. And I read a book where usually backs people, they were talking about backs people and essentially how backs for large part of Spain say grass near dry, they don't even want to play football. But in backs constantly playing football, whether there's a storm, whether there's a crowd, whatever, backs want to constantly playing football. And that's why Inigo Martinez is an important player for Football Club Barcelona. Barcelona Already he's untouchable. He's untouchable. And Mark and Ter Stegen more Ronald Araujo Mona possibly they can leave the club, but for no Abranti friend Inigo Martinez there, he's untouchable. He is untouchable. Our club no one, and of course, and that is exactly how things are going on from there. Is that something that I've not touched? Of course, Man United for no still the way Liverpool for not players, top players who go to for 95. I was saying that for me, the big question is why is it that Liverpool are buying a player for this match when they've never done it before? And I said the last time that for two things, Liverpool really want to start preparing for life after Salah, and they want to dominate Europe. They really want to dominate Europe. And I've said the last time that Hugo Ekitike is a very good player, probably better than Alexander Isak. Yes, Isak is Isak, big name, will be a kind of answer and stuff like that. But Hugo Ekitike is a top guy, top player, power. And then he's a kind of player where when you have in your team, you definitely succeed at getting him to be all the top players that you get around. And we'll see if Hugo Ekitike will be able to get to the very top. We'll see if Hugo Ekitike can really be a top level player and he can, play well and be one of the best players that we are seeing. But Liverpool have gotten their man. And next season, the new look Liverpool attacker of Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Mohamed Salah, Domenico Szoboszlai. Unless Darwin Nunez, Darwin Nunez most likely will go. But then, unless Abranti friend Luis Diaz goes, add Luis Diaz to the pack. That is Charlie. Top level, top draw staff in a Liverpool for them. With team when they'll be able to compete. Champions League, English Premier League, Carabao Cup. Already, Omadi Kanji, league last season. The plan is that would they be able to win it again? Liverpool for they say, Emo Bianca says Canada. Now, more time and Liverpool spend. Most you Liverpool are not spending, they are stingy, blah, blah, blah. Now they are spending. But you see, some of the things that Liverpool players and former Liverpool coaches said is what is hunting them today. No football fan describe the things that Jurgen Klopp described of other clubs. Today, this is the same club trying to really win. So there's nothing wrong for me. I don't care. For a lot of people, it's about sustainability, and I agree. Say clubs like this, you can't overspend your revenue. So is it sustainable? So it's about sustainability. But as a football fan, like I say, yes, you can worry about sustainability. That's the long-term thought. But it's about will this player really hit the ground running? Will he win? That's the most important thing for a football fan, and that's what you're supposed to be worried about, not really about how things will turn out, whether they play at the bottom like that, they didn't bottom like this, all of those things. So, and sometimes they don't matter too much when it comes to the players that will come in and how they want to play from there. When it comes to how teams want to win their trophies, and it doesn't really matter. Like I said, Nicholas Jackson to Manchester United, still there's a possibility happening according to Fabrizio Romano. Man United will most likely buy a striker after Haaland did not sold him, after Joshua Zexi did not sold him. How are they going to go into the market and buy a striker? We'll see how things are going to pan out. If you want Nicholas Jackson, Ekitike went for 95 million. Bring 100 million. Bring 100 million. Else we are not selling Nicholas Jackson to you. Else we are not giving you Nicholas Jackson. Then you are not ready to go in and then bring the player to get a player called Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea Football Club. We'll see how things are going to go on from there. Arsenal, of course, have closed in, almost done with our branch friend Victor Gyökeres. What Victor Gyökeres does to the team, it's important. And what we are hearing is that if Chelsea sells they sell Nicholas Jackson, there's a likelihood that they'll go in for Benjamin Sesko. Benjamin Sesko's agent in the last few days has been talking to Chelsea for the power, trying to convince them to Charlie. The boy, Chelsea for the Charlie. The operational cost for Benjamin Sesko, they also too much. Also, and we've already bought Liam Delap. We can't have 3 strikers straight up our team unless something happens in the club. Of course, AC Milan in the last few hours have inquired about a bright friend Rasmus Højlund. They've asked questions about Højlund. They want to add Højlund to their pack on Manchester United. For if they will truly get another striker, then it means that Joshua Zexi and that's Rasmus Højlund. More likely, Rasmus Højlund will leave the club. And once Rasmus Højlund leaves the club, means that another striker will come in. And then once that comes in, And then, of course, that is going to be that's going to happen. I want to most especially the players that will come in. Noah Lang, the new player Napoli at no Charlie. Noah Lang so on there. Say, oh, the money man is somebody on him, but tactically he feels like he has to grow. I love that thought from a player like Noah Lang. Now he believes that Antonio Conte is the guy who can give him that growth tactically. And I don't know about Napoli, or try to tactically he will grow and he'll be able to play well, he'll be able to grow in it. And of course, Napoli for us are clear that they need some of these players to add to their pack to be able to compete very well. And that's why they've earmarked Noah Lang to come in to help them to play to the top level, of course, with Kevin De Bruyne, with Romelu Lukaku, and the likes. We'll see how Noah Lang will fare at SSC Napoli. We draw the curtains on this afternoon edition. We should be back with you in the evening. Hopefully after the bets do boom, and then of course early tomorrow morning we'll be back with you to start an excellent week. There's the Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Now subscribe to the channel, subscribe, turn on notification. In the notification turn it, do choose all. But so then, do take care. Bye bye.